Hello, Happy New Year, everyone. This is Radha from Galactic Goddess TV, and I'm here with Solma. Welcome, Solma.
Yes, I love being here. Thank you for having me.
Yes, I'm so happy we could connect. We just finished our, Radiant Sutras poetry class. We still have more to go, but for today's class, and we were all moving, like so much energy was moving, and afterwards, Soma and I were like talking about the mother, the return of the mother, the divine mother that is always been and always will be the one, both that lives in mothers here within us, but also the mother that's eternal. And we just thought we'd come on and have a conversation about the return of the mother in 2025.
Oh, I love it.
Topic.
I love that you chose that. Um, and I will say that, my commitment for the world is that motherhood is honored as the source for world peace. But what I got recently is even in the speaking of it that way, it really is actually our commitment for the world is that motherhood is
Mm-hmm.
honored as the source for world peace. It already belongs to us.
Mm-hmm.
It's already here and it's acknowledging the
Yeah.
places where it already exists. And here you are mentioning that connection to mother nurturer,
Mm-hmm.
like an archetype
Yeah.
that we rely on and that we're only here because of her. I
Yes.
mean, and that's not instead of God, but even exactly the
Mhm.
planet that we're on, Mother Earth,
Yeah.
we wouldn't be here without her.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the truth is that mother is such a part of us in every sense of the way, mental, emotional, physical, spiritual. I mean, it is in every part of it's in all of our chakras. Like mother is our deepest longing for love, and it's like even beyond it's first it's our mother that we see when we are born, and that continues, and we work through those archetypal relationships, and then there's also that archetypal eternal mother, and sometimes I call her the dark mother because she's the goddess of all creation, but also death and rebirth.
Hmm. Yes, total.
And
Yeah.
mhm.
And for me, death is so many similarities as birth. Both are accessing, coming in through the veil, the other one exiting through the veil, actually. But the veil is there. And, coming from
Yes,
other
yeah,
world into this world,
yeah,
the magic is there at
yes.
any birth. And yeah, those experiences are amazing. The
So
same
beautiful.
for
Yeah.
when my parents died. And
Hmm.
I looked for the places of magic because I knew they would be there. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Because those are portals.
Yes.
The birth is a portal, and the death is a portal, but it's not an ending, or the beginning is a continuation in many ways.
Mhm.
And why this is kind of present for me too is because during my journey I recently went on with Mother Aya, I she came to me the second night because the first night I cried for her,
Mm.
and I longed for her, and my heart was crying for her, and I think we all are. It's like the whole world is longing for mother. And it's not just like, hey mom, it's not just it's mom because that's important, but it's also that eternal mother, the mother that is there with in our birth and in our death, and so I felt aware of how much my heart was crying for her. And I thought Well, I thought she wasn't present because I felt that's the feeling that I had because you grow up in certain ways and like I don't know, it's just like society doesn't really make the mother important. The mother they make mothers work and leave their children. Not that that's a bad thing, but it's like they don't know how important mother is to child, to babies, to mothers, how much the children need their mother's arms and their love and their encouragement and their nurturing and that archetype needs that archetype is missing from like mainstream schooling. Like you go to school and they're like, don't do this and don't do that, and like it feels like a harsh lack of mother energy, whereas a child, no matter where they are and who they're with, should always feel that divine mother archetype in their presence because that is so needed for them because even in a tribal communities like they have it's not like and don't you think in tribal communities like it's not just one mother sometimes it's like the communities are
Mhm.
mothers because there's this understanding these are children, these are sacred beings and we all look out for them because it's not just my kid, it's like the kids of the divine, right? They're children of the
Yeah.
divine.
And the kids understand that it isn't just the one mother either.
Mm.
I mean, I love that you brought up the tribal sense because, as much as they are welcome to mother the children, it's not that the children are also separated and only wanting their mother either.
Hmm. Hmm.
I mean, it's kind of like the situation if, like, we lived with aunts, with all the aunts and uncles and all of that.
Yeah,
It would
yeah.
be, yeah. So
It's so
that's a good
beautiful.
analogy.
And I feel so strongly with the messaging that you bring forward. And would you mind repeating it so that we can become really present to it?
Sure. Our commitment for the world is that motherhood is honored as the source for world peace.
Mm.
And what I get about that too is that, how moms often, it's part of our breeding, I guess, to do so much for the child and so much that we forget about ourselves, which
Mhm.
is also there in any service. There's a forgetting about oneself to serve, but awesome. Also, it includes moms that do it so much and such a skill and so effortlessly that then there's no thought here and then there's no self-care. It
Mm.
becomes the imbalance of it is all,
Mhm.
and
Yeah,
that's easy to do.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mothers
And
need so much support.
yeah, and when you brought up the birthing too, it's about the birthing of this new year to me as well. And you said, the birthing of the mother, and for me it's also the birthing of femininity, to
Hmm.
where we also acknowledge the recognition that how women have been treated, that has become the norm, unfortunately, over a long period of time, over probably hundreds of years, but I'm really only going like since the 30s, since we've seen it on videos and films
Hmm.
and movies, um, and all of that, to where it's immersed in our culture.
Yeah.
And but we're also now, with the help of the internet, um, able to bring it to light much brighter
Hmm.
in ways that aren't necessarily just nothing but opposition, because that
Hmm.
doesn't help. But it only helps the contrast of, like, more people seeing,
Hmm.
mm, because of it being spoken more directly, um, about it before it's what we would see on movies. It would just be that would be the norm.
Mhm.
So it wouldn't be noticed until, decades later of like, oh, it reminds me that there was, I'm not even remembering the name of the show, and I guess it doesn't matter, but it was was a TV series that they created about the 50s, and it looked like it was going to be um, accurate. And I think maybe it was so accurate that my husband said, I don't want to watch this because of the way they're treating women. So,
Mhm.
being far enough away from it
Mhm.
to then recognize, oh, I mean, I didn't even see it at all after that. Um, so that's already been maybe 8 years or something. Um, and then it's been going on a long time. So I didn't mean to go on so much into that, except for that it's available now much more readily on the internet.
Mm.
Women are standing up more powerfully, not to be bitches about it, not to, but just in a powerful way. And really, even some of Kamala's uh, speeches, I think, represented that, of keeping her cool while she was being powerful.
Mhm.
And I don't mean anything by that statement other than she was there for everyone to see,
Sure, right.
and definitely a contrast. And to
Yeah.
be bold enough to run against a man. So that's what it takes. And
Mm.
more women are embracing that. That's
Courage.
also the birth
Courage.
of femininity. That
Mhm.
femininity includes much, much more than the sensuality
Yeah.
or than the opposition. So
Yeah,
much
right.
more available in between
Oh,
of
I
that.
feel like there is so much more. I think that you know, mother archetype gets put in a box and then they're like, "Oh, well that's what you are," you know, like or like the mother, so you're just here to nurture the kids. Okay, that's all you're good for. I mean, that's not the truth, right? But that's the messaging that sometimes women get or have expressed to me, that they feel frustrated, that like, people think that just because you're a mother, that your sensuality is like you're not the same sensual being when in fact you might even be more in touch with your own sensuality. Like I've heard of women starting to give like orgasmic births because they are able
Mhm.
to, and it's something so fascinating. And um, I just, you know, I always thought like if I was to have a child, I would want them to be born in water because it's so welcoming, you know. It's like
Yeah.
easing the child, and it's like you're bringing the child from the spirit world to the physical world, but the water is a conduit of the divine. And so, you know, there's just so much room for mothers to be. I just feel like take it out of the box, but it's the energy. It's like it's the energy. Like in my ceremony on the second night, the dark mother came to me and sat literally across from me and would not leave. Like I couldn't help but look at her because she was so beautiful and terrifying. And she was dark in the sense of like you know, like in like a black hole, that kind of a darkness, you know?
Hmm.
And she was also like, but also my heart was celebrating, like, Mother is here, and Mother has always been here. I didn't have the eyes to see her because of my own wounding. And so the whole night she was with me, the entire journey, and she confronted me not in a scary way, not in a mean way, but like her face would change into all kinds of things, and she would be scary, and she would be beautiful, and she would be dangerous, and she would be loving. I mean, it was all at once. It wasn't even separate.
Yeah.
And then like I just giggled like a little girl, like Mother
Yeah.
is so funny because Mother has so many faces.
Hmm.
And like we don't understand that we're afraid of that dark feminine archetype, but that is also mother, and mother is she has no prejudice inside of her. She loves every one of her beings, is what I will call her
Yeah,
being. Doesn't matter
absolutely.
what face you wear. It doesn't matter what you look like. It's like mother loves you. Mother loves you. You are loved. It doesn't matter. Like what you think matters doesn't matter. Like you're loved. And to
Hmm.
feel that love because it is the most pure and it's what the whole world is going crazy about because I think the world isn't feeling that mother, they don't feel that mother's love. They don't feel connected to that mother energy, and it's creating a sickness in people, like an illness, like a mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual illness. And so it's important to like create openings for her is what I think the long-winded version I'm trying to say is like we want to let her be here with us because we've kind of in our society been very I can't even say it, patriarchal.
Yeah.
We've kind of excluded mother from everything, including religion, including spirituality, including politics, including everything that matters most to us. And therefore, it's created this imbalance that is making people unwell.
Hmm. Yeah. It's all so right on, Um, so much is going through my mind as you speak, um, about the way mother has, well, the phrase been taken for granted, right? It's like, well, she's just there. She'll always be there. Oh, I
Mhm.
wish she wasn't there. She's annoying because she's there, all the phases
Mhm.
that come with it. Uh, yeah, they're just, and it's all the phases of human being, just
Yeah.
like you were really alluding to. And yet the mother lives it because of her femininity, lives it more forthright.
Hmm.
Men are not because they are this way, but they are trained to be stoic
Hmm.
or, reserved
Hmm.
or whatever that is. Controlling. It's okay for
Hmm.
them to be controlling, but if we are, then we, you know, are worse for it. We're not
Hmm.
allowed the
Yeah.
same. And
Shunned is the
yet
word. Shunned.
shunned, yeah, shunned is a good word, because I connected with shame again this morning. It's been visiting lately, and I've learned all I need to do. I don't go into, oh, what am I ashamed of? And
Hmm.
how is that coming up? No, I just get, oh, shame is here again. All right. Well, then I'll find where is that shame in my body. And then I will just send love
Hmm.
because love is the greatest healer. You already mentioned love anyway. Mother
Yeah.
is love. It's like love is everything. Love is God. God is love. Love is energy. We're energy. We're all of it. And yeah, so the mother is representing fully the power of everyone
Hmm.
when we are accepting that part of ourselves.
Yes.
and
Yes.
and not as the mother culturally that you're saying, so is
Yeah.
more like a suppressed or put in the box.
Hmm.
And even when you said that, I was like, huh, I kind of put my own self in the box of mother because I always wanted to be a mom since I was 7.
Hmm.
Now, but I really get in reflecting back, I was aware enough to feel like I wanted to be a mom because I didn't particularly care the way I was being raised, even though I was 7. Um, there was physical abuse, and you can tell the healing is there. It's not okay,
Mhm.
but I had my own sense about it. So to continue thinking, right? Not to actually to not allow it. So I did stand up to uh, being disciplined. No, it was really punishment. I think that's a good one to bring up in
Mhm.
the world of parenting, that discipline is not the same as punishing. And using a belt is punishing. Using your hand can be punishing as well. Um, and yet I'm not completely against a smack to catch attention.
Yeah.
Now, that even is probably a bold thing to say now. I'm not saying across the face. I'm not, anything like that. And always better to use words.
Yeah.
But sometimes, uh, I mean, really, I didn't know I was going to bring that up, but it is one of those things that has been a time to what's going to catch the attention right now in this moment for this situation, that the words haven't made a difference, and
Mm.
that either it's not, I mean, in a place of danger,
Mhm.
you got to catch their attention.
Mhm.
um and it might look like yanking them out of the way, which a yank could also be called a punishment. So now we're into little nuances, but um yeah, mainly no. We want the love is the healing part. And so when the shame visits, it's loving myself more. And
Mhm.
so I love the sense of knowing as a healer that I can put my hands on different areas and just send love that way. But you can send it with your intention. That's what prayer is. So, in heart to heart, sending love that way. I just know that I have learned a more responsive result, like in the moment, and that's all that's needed.
Mhm.
Um, for me, that's what's the most effective. That's what's been the most effective.
Mhm.
Talking is important, way more important than we maybe even give credit to talking. And sometimes when we're saying the same thing over and over again and it's not moving, then moving into energy is a really great way to move it forward beyond just speaking
Yeah.
and staying in the cycle, the caught
Yes.
cycle, and
Yeah.
keeping it going without knowing we're keeping it going, just like we didn't know we set it up in the first place. So,
Right.
yeah, so much of the love that you brought up is the exact remedy right
Yes.
there
It
for
is the
whatever
remedy.
comes up. Yeah.
And it was so sweet to taste that love and to experience it. And it made me giggle. I could feel my little girl. And I wanted to share something that was so funny because Mother was showing that no matter what, she's always with us and she's always with me because there were some beautiful dancers that came out like mid-ceremony and Mother had been right across from me and then I couldn't see her and because there was a beautiful dancer and then I couldn't help but ask, I mean it was just instinctual, Mother, where are you? And then I saw her, and then she leaned over, like bent over beyond the dancer, and she put her arms out like a ballerina, and with her dark, face and everything, and I just giggled like it was our joke, like
Oh,
it doesn't matter the situation, it doesn't matter the circumstance, it doesn't matter
yes.
um, what is going on, who's in front of you. Mother is always with you. And the same is true with father because I had a prolific
Mm-hmm.
experience with father too. And I've never had that experience with father before where father spoke to me and really talked to me like in a way. like we were best friends forever, and
Mm,
it was the kind of love that I understood at that moment that it's really love. Like people hurt you and they do things that are vile because they don't feel mother or father.
yeah,
The
well put.
disconnect
Mhm.
is
Yeah.
so profound that the disconnect makes us feel lost. And without it,
Yes.
we become susceptible to becoming hardened and
Mm.
we are not plugged into our soul.
Wow. See, you've now done it again because what I hear actually is not just you saying those words, but that we will all experience that when we come to this planet,
Hmm?
just because that's what we're here to do. Here to have experiences. And unfortunately, the all experiences are valuable for whatever we are here to do or be. And not that we don't have a choice, because I believe we do, only with the consciousness now, only
Yes.
with the acknowledgement of how it's going, how it has gone, what's forgiven, what unveils now because something else was forgiven,
Yeah.
all of that whole journey. So there's not a reason to make the other person wrong for having played the role as it
Yes.
went. Um, yeah, came
That,
out of their journey.
mhm.
It did. Unfortunately, it affected our journey in the way it did, but not to be caught there, not to
Yeah.
be uh,
Stuck or frozen.
righteous about it. Yeah, not to be angry about it anymore because that anger goes internal,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
we suffer more.
Hmm.
It becomes the perpetuation of the suffering.
It does. And that's one thing I really understood that what when people betrayed me, wronged me, sought to destroy me and hurt me, and I took it personal. And then mother and father showed me it's absolutely not personal. There's nothing personal, even remotely close to their actions. You just happen to be there. You just happen to be the one that they thought would relieve their pain if they acted this way.
Mhm.
If they deferred their pain, if they made me feel the pain instead of them, they would be less burdened by it, and it's not personal. And then my heart really glowed, and I said I forgive everyone,
Mm,
everyone,
mm,
no matter what they've done to me, because it wasn't to me. They don't know that they're doing it to themselves because that pain is they can't just escape it by throwing it, slinging it, or trying to stash it inside of someone else. It doesn't go away. We have to feel to heal. And when I really, really, I mean, I really understood it for the very, like I had been edging around it and I had
yeah,
understood it for moments and there was
yeah.
so much clarity. But then when I felt it in my heart, I forgave them and I prayed for them. Like,
Mm,
pray for your awakening. I pray you can come back to yourself because if you
yes.
knew yourself, you wouldn't do this. You
Hmm.
wouldn't want to hurt someone else because it hurts to hurt other people. You
Hmm.
wouldn't want to feed off their pain because you are whole already. You just forgot. It's just a forgetfulness. We all go through it. We've all been in amnesia. And it is not for us to be forgetful forever. We're here to remember. And when
Yeah.
you remember, there is no greater feeling in this whole existence than that remembering that you are love
Yeah. Great. That you are loved and that you are loved as
and that you
well.
are loved. Yeah.
Because you're loving yourself. So you're loved by you, if no one else.
Yeah.
but you are loved by the mother, you are loved by God,
Yeah.
and by, yeah. And so, I even, again, recently, just this transition to me from 2024 to 2025, there's something unfolding that I'm allowing it to take its time.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I'm looking towards the Happy New Year for sure. And I'm experienced a Happy New Year for, people only want to call it the day,
It's
but it's really looking in those places of like, um, I mean, I, it was I call it a new level of, um, making myself wrong or being mean to me and without knowing again,
Mhm.
you know,
Conscious
um, this
self-punishing.
time, yeah, well, yeah, the the
Hmm.
habit of it. And when I say new layer, it's like mostly lots of forgiving, lots of love, lots of all of that has happened. And it's rare. So for this to occur was just like, what? It was, and it came again. I looked to the body because I work with the body. And so I had a pain in my shoulder area where I never have that. Just never. And so I was like, it was so odd. And I would go ahead and put, ice uh and then when I saw that I'd been making myself wrong, I went, well, no wonder I've been grumpy, you know? and and I was resting a lot more because it feels wearing when something like that is going on. And I don't take, pain pills because I believe you need to not suffer, but you need to be aware of when it's good and when it isn't, and how it's talking to you. And like now it doesn't need it, and now apply.
Hmm.
So it's bringing awareness to it. So once it went away, with the help of a chiropractor that really saw, he goes, "Well, this is muscle stuff," and he actually happened to have healing hands, which not all do. And in that massage, I was able to release it myself with him and breath. So it was gone. It did take a week, but all that time I was like, oh my gosh, it's gone. What I didn't know was that it was still showing up in my face. So New Year's Day, I thought, okay, it's time for me to make videos again. Got it up, did my hair and makeup, which I didn't today, um, but I didn't get to it till about 4 in the afternoon. Then I couldn't figure out uh, my phone with Facebook, how to get back into video. Sometimes it escapes me, especially if I haven't done it in a while and they've changed stuff, right? Or my phone's upgraded, whatever it is. So I was being patient and thinking I was doing good. And then I went, okay, this is not going to happen. I said it was going to happen today. I'm at least going to take a picture of myself and post it. I did that and I looked at the picture and I went, oh my God, I looked like an old hag. I mean, my face was drooping in ways and it was just like, what? I went, oh my gosh, that's what's happened when I've been making myself wrong. This is what that looks like. And that became the representation of the things that had happened in 2024 that weren't okay with me. So the next, I mean, that night I just practiced loving myself. And the next day I was practicing everything I did, no matter what I did, I would have pleasure. So that's another way to love yourself. Pleasure washing the
Mm.
dishes, pleasure, just,
Allowing,
yeah, just
allowing,
really
allowing.
allowing that.
Mm.
Hmm. But and enjoyment, both of them, just like whatever I'm doing today, it is what I want to do, which
Mhm.
I always feel like I'm doing what I want to do, but sometimes I'm not being good about it. Yeah. But that day I was enjoying it so much. And then at 4 o'clock, I went, oh, well, I'm going to take a picture and send it to my daughter. She'll let me know, because the other ones, I got rid of those. There were two of them, and they were just like, oh no, I can't keep those. And um, and so she, because I know she'll tell the truth. And I didn't tell her anything. I just said, here's my newest picture from today. And she said, you look fantastic, Mom. Well, it's because I felt fantastic
Yes,
all
yes,
day.
yes.
And it was just so there. And I went, this is 2025. That's my declaration.
Oh, I love
Yeah.
it. I love it because, our masks can't hold the inner feeling, and that's something else kind of that came through is like releasing those burdens lets us feel lighter, giving those burdens, like it's not to be mean, but mother and father want us to give our burdens, like our heaviness to them. Like
Mm,
we don't have, we can feel it, like we feel it and then to heal it, and then we surrender it because we can feel it and then still hold on to it. And that's kind of like being a miser. Like, oh no, I'm gonna
mhm.
keep this
Oh.
because you made me so angry. And, it's like learning to let go faster and even
Mhm.
loving, like even loving in the moment, even the one that can't see. Like, the ignorance is bliss kind of a thing, and loving, even though we may experience or see that those, people being unaware, unawakened in that moment, but we can still love them too. Like, okay, I see you're still playing this game, but I still love you. It's kind of like we don't
Yeah.
have to play the game, but we just acknowledge it and say, I see, because mother sees us like that all the time. Like, I see you, you're still hiding from yourself, but I
Mhm.
still love you.
Yeah.
I love you.
Love you even more.
Yeah. I
I
love
mean, like love it out of you, kind
Yeah.
of sometimes. I mean, really, I didn't know I was going to say that, but even with my husband, because one of my failures with 2024 first was, um, I'm calling it that on purpose because people can wince about it, right? Because that's kind of what the word failure brings, it's like, oh,
Yeah.
I don't want that
Yeah.
word in my life. But but it felt like that because I couldn't see something my daughter had wanted me to see about how she was brought up. And and it had taken me a long time. Well, we broke through that by the end of the year, well, 2 months ago. And so then, it became so clear that those are the failures that really count because I continued to keep looking, even though not constantly, but like it would just
Mhm.
be there, and then I'll try to get there again, and no, I couldn't see it.
Mhm.
Um, and finally, when I did and was able to tell her, she was so forgiving, she was so great, and she just said, "Well, um, nobody's perfect, Mom." And that was the forgiveness phrase for me. And I knew that I had already forgiven myself for it. Otherwise, I wouldn't have even brought it up to her,
Right.
And so I didn't need her to say that, but because she said it so lightly, I knew that was complete. That was just so
Mhm.
good. So the failures, kind of like when you say feel to heal, it's the failures precede the
Mhm.
victory. You're not going to have a victory without the failure that got you
Yeah.
there.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you got to be kidding me. Why do we feel like this need to like come in like we already are winning. That's why we're here.
Hmm.
That's why we're playing this game because we already won entry into the game. But like we don't understand that we created our own challenges and
Yep.
setups. Like if we really understood like, hey, I set this up and I know the weird, crazy challenges I put in front of myself because I
Hmm.
knew that I could break through them. So it's not like it doesn't matter how many times it took. It doesn't matter if I fell on my face and bled because I got up again and again and I never gave up. And so there is no failure. That's the thing you don't understand. We were already winners before we came here. We're just playing a different kind of game. And like when you
Yeah.
pull back that veil of illusion, you see how funny this game is, how crazy it is. Like, okay,
Right.
we actually need to change the rules here and we need
Change the game.
We need to change
Yeah.
the game. Like we actually, and that's part of it is like we came here to change the game because it was really and is really archaic and boring, frankly. And it's frankly boring because like, okay, I've done that like 200,000 lifetimes in a row. Like, you know what? I all I had to do was remember that I've already done that before, and then I mark it as complete. And like, okay, so next, like I want something more interesting because it's
Hmm.
no longer engaging. Like the old game is no longer engaging, and the desire for a game that stimulates our heart and our mind and our soul and brings all of that together with mother and father. It's a way more exciting game because you know, we've so many of us we've played this. Like so we're here actually to kind of write a new manuscript, write a new game, do more like we have to recode the back end. You know what I mean? And so
Well,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. And the thing about the game, especially, you've clearly defined them. It's like we get to now, it's the gift of consciousness that you get to create the game the way you want it to go.
Hmm.
Like in the space of being great with yourself and
Hmm.
letting your greatness shine and go on to the expansion and the limitlessness.
Hmm.
That's available. That's all that's available. And what the other games were created from the unconscious.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So, so then that makes it easy to forgive ourselves for even putting
Mhm.
ourselves in the game in the first place. No, well,
That
we
is
had no consciousness for it
that is a huge
at the
forgiveness.
time.
I mean,
Hmm.
that is one of I think that's one of the biggest because when you realize, oh, like I actually did this part of this, like I co-created, like I'm a co-creator in
Yeah.
this. I'm not just an NPC, I'm not just here put in the game to be tortured. Like I'm actually a co-creator. And we're all co-creators. So like when more people wake up from that, recovering from this like feeling of victimhood. And that was such a big
Yeah.
piece that I had
Yeah.
to actually be like, oh, okay, like I'm actually not a victim at all. Like I like that's like the funny
You were
joke of
just
it.
pretending.
I was just pretending I'm such a good actress. I deserve an Oscar. That was amazing. I'm baffled by my skill. But
Right?
it's so shocking. And and then like there's just it's just so funny. Like you find the humor in it all because
Mhm.
it's beautiful. And the humor is like the golden thread,
Mhm.
just as our heart is,
Yeah.
but the humor is a golden thread. Like we can laugh our way through this too. We don't just have to cry and scrape and scream and just, suffer in silence. Like we get to have fun
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
we have all the permission in the world to be happy. And it's okay,
And
like
we
day to
might
day. Mm-hmm.
we might cry with joy.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Tears of joy. Tears of
Mhm.
joy. So I just feel so happy and I feel your message is so powerful, that you're bringing it practical to mothers, the everyday mothers who are looking for support and like, we have to create those systems for mothers so that they can raise children that, have the best, period,
Yeah. Yeah, well, I'm looking for mothers to be on my Facebook page called Healthy Moms, Healthy World, and especially tech savvy mommies that can help me, you know, uh, manage it because I've done many, many videos. I put them on there. I don't know how to run the thing. I don't know how to do the practical part. And I know it's our mission. It's our commitment. So if anybody else feels that and wants to be a part of it and knows that they're called to
Yes.
do that part of it, it would be so helpful in spreading the word and
Hmm.
the helpfulness that we can be to one another and I offer coaching as well, but right
Mm.
now it's about the, you know, how can I help you? Um,
Yeah.
Expand that part of the mothering experience for you, and
Mm.
bring peace to your family first,
Mm.
because if it's going to start with us, then it starts with us in our health. The mom
Yes.
is healthy, the mom is then uh, more at peace. And yeah, there's so many things that are coming out of it that are developing um, that yeah, there's room for so many more to
Oh,
come.
so
So
beautiful. And thank you so much for that, for like the love that you hold always and and in all ways, because it's so beautiful. It's just a wonderful feeling. And I look forward to yeah, more women finding out about your work and how you can support them, and also like, you showing up every other week for our Radiant Sutras, and like really bringing that sacred motherly energy into our space and holding it down and creating a safe space so people can go deeper into their poetry. It's like really beautiful to witness. And I am baffled every single time at the end of our call when people are reading their poems, and I just feel like so touched that the space that was created and the brilliance coming through, and that's part of it. So thank you so much, Selma. We love you. And until next
yeah,
time, much love, and
thank you.
we'll see you in the new year.
Okay.